It's 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news and stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon or the Storycon Conference. I'm at Lingao.
And I'm Regina. It is Tuesday, July 8th.
Tuesday, yeah.
Gagawa siya ng sarili niyang bloke na independent block. Gagawa siya ng sarili niyang bloke na independent block. And ay ngayon mag-isa na lang siya.
Oh, nasa
I heard na mag-isa na lang siya. I cannot confirm nor deny this. But
willing yung i-adapt, sir?
of course, she's most welcome to join us. Although we have a divergent, I'd say, position on some issues. Kasi of course she's more on the left side. We're more on the conservative side. Many of you know I'm a conservative.
Recall that Senate President Pro Tempore Jingo Estrada said it's very likely that Aquino will chair the Education Committee and Pangilinan the Agriculture Committee in the 20th Congress. The two could also support Escudero's bid to retain the Senate presidency. But Zubiri is bent on unseating Chiz.
Open to another third force. Baka may dark horse dyan na gustong tumayo. Why not? We talked about it sa grupo namin. If there's a dark horse that will come out, that's not necessarily us four. We're willing to support. Basta ang pangako lang niya ay transparency at integridad ng Senado. Ang nagugustuhan ko kay Senator Soto, naniniwala siya sa consensus building. Hindi po siya diktador na kung saan sasabihin niya, itong gagawin natin. Kung ayaw nyo, di pagdebatihan natin sa plenaryo. I'm not satisfied with the leadership of the Senate, with due respect to the Senate President. Maybe there could be improvements to be made. The handling of the impeachment is one. Of course, the budget's another. And the lack of transparency. For example, the Senate building. What is going to happen with the Senate building? Findings came out na wala naman, on track naman daw. We're spending a lot. 4 kasi na tower yan eh. Di ba? So, ano na yung pangyayari dyan? Di namin alam. Matutuloy ba yan? Will it become a white elephant? We're not told what's going to happen to that.
Hindi ka na-update?
No, there's no update.
Pasok ka, Mogs.
The Department of Foreign Affairs has summoned the Chinese ambassador over sanctions imposed on former Senator Francis Tolentino. The DFA says while China has a legal right to impose sanctions targeting democratically elected officials for their official duties, goes against the principles of mutual respect between sovereign states. The department reminded the ambassador that the Philippines as a democracy upholds the freedom of expression and the separation of powers. It also stresses that lawmakers have a constitutional mandate to conduct inquiries on matters of national interest. Earlier, Beijing barred Tolentino from entering the Chinese mainland, Hong Kong, and Macau for allegedly engaging in malicious words and deeds on China-related matters.
Vice President Sara Duterte is back at The Hague and will be staying there until July 23rd to visit her father. The Vice President says former President Rodrigo Duterte, she claims that he's skin and bones now, but is fine with no health complaints whatsoever. From the Netherlands, it's off to South Korea for Sara to drum up support for Digong, who is of course detained at the ICC for crimes against humanity. As planned, she is keeping President Marcos's 4th State of the Nation address on July 28th.
Pumayat siya ng sobra. Ganito siguro siya kapayat nung binata pa siya. Kung ito yung braso ko, doble ma. So doble is kalahati nito. Kalahati na lang nito ang braso niya. Tinanong namin siya kung may mga complaints siya. Wala naman siyang nararamdaman daw. So okay naman siya. On that note, kasi wala din naman siya sa hospital part ng prison. Nandun siya sa regular detention. Dito lang kami sa Hague sa duration ng duty ko. So July ano ba ako? Kailan ako dumating? July 5 hanggang July 23 yung sa akin. And then, darating sa susunod si Hanilet. Minamaximize namin yung grant ng detention unit na 4 times a week pwede po receive.
And here's a The Vice President, also resumed her critique of the Marcos administration and its cooperation with the ICC on protecting witnesses against Lingao.
Nakakalungkot. Sinasabi nila walang ebidensya, pero meron sila ngayong witnesses na kaya naman nila pala bayaran yung pagbabiyahe. Pero nakakalungkot kasi sobrang bagal ng galaw nila para sa ating mga kababayan na naiipit sa kaguluhan sa Iran at sa Israel. At nakikita ng taong bayan nasaan ba talaga yung priorities ng administration na ito. Apparently, puro politika lang yung paninira sa politika lang yung kanilang prioridad. Gawa-gawa talaga na ebidensya. At yung ibang ebidensya nila, meron din tayong ebidensya na kinuha yon by force or intimidation or harassment of individuals. So, makikita din natin yun soon, very soon.
And here's a quick rundown of other stories. Malacanang says the next ombudsman must be brave, fair, and upright in carrying out his duties. The palace confirms that no shortlist has been given to the president yet, but emphasizes that these traits are essential for all public servants. Justice Secretary Boying Rimulya is one of the applicants for the ombudsman position.
The country's unemployment rate dropped to 3.9% in May. That's down from 4.1% the month prior. This translates to 2.03 million jobless Filipinos. That's slightly lower than the 2.06 million recorded previously. Underemployment also improved, falling to 13.1% from 14.6%. And U.S. President Donald Trump has imposed a 25% tariff on imports from Japan and South Korea, along with new import taxes on 12 other countries effective August 1st. Trump warned foreign leaders of these nations against retaliation, threatening to increase tariffs even further if they raise their own.
And joining us today. Finally, we have you here. Okay. Storycon's resident political
That
heckler.
was a very pregnant pause.
Isang araw lang nawala.
Hindi, kailangan namin ngayon kasi marami kayong gusto yung tanong sa'yo ngayon. Ronald Llamas nga pala. Dito Ronald Llamas.
Oo nga pala.
Nga pala.
Isang araw nawala, nakalimutan mo na ang pangalan niya.
Oo nga pala.
Oh, ito.
And from the Philippine Star, we've got Editor-in-Chief, Amy Pamintuan. Hi, Amy.
Hi everybody, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
Bakit may tawa pag introduce kay Ronald?
Siyempre. Di ba? Pregnant pause talaga
There's
eh.
always, parang parating may laman yung tawa.
Hindi katulad ng
Oo nga.
attire ni Kwan, maaliwalas. Di ba? Maaliwalas ang dating, ganyan. Kahit marami kang problema, ay makakalimutan mo. Oo.
Siyempre, madilim eh. Masama yung weather eh.
Sakto,
Masama yung
we're all
weather.
wearing dark here, tapos ikaw lang yung naka-white.
Dark na nga yung labas
Teka
ka.
lang, are you feeling better? Okay ka na?
Ha?
Okay ka na?
May sakit ka ba?
Never been better.
That's why nag-zoom siya ng isang araw, di ba? Or was that
Last
just an
week,
excuse?
Last week pa yun eh.
Last week pa ba yun?
Last week yun eh.
Kagabi, nasa ako, Batangas.
Ano meron?
Naglalamya doon na.
Ano ba meron sa Batangas? Kahapon.
Solar panel.
Mga sabongerong
Sa linggo.
Sa bungero?
Mga
Related dun sa ano?
Mga sabongerong
Related dun sa kaso?
Tagaytay yun.
Binoon sa ano?
Tagaytay, oo.
Malapit na.
Taas basically Batangas.
Kadikit ng Batangas.
Oh, Taal eh. Nandun sa Taal Lake eh.
CBCP General Assembly sa Lipa.
Ayun.
Oo nga.
CBCP?
Ano nangyari dun sa CBCP?
that's
Ayun, may
right.
bago ng presidente. Dahil 2 terms na si
Ah, yeah.
Cardinal Ambo eh.
Correct,
2 terms
si
na siyang presidente. So,
So, sino na ngayon?
yung Kwan.
Bishop Ronald Llamas.
Bishop ng Lipa.
Regales?
Yung lipa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Regales, di ba?
Mag-i-issue ba sila ng statement sa impeachment? Are they thinking about it?
Mas naglabas sila ng statement sa gambling.
Mm.
No, wala pa sa impeachment.
Yung sa gambling, the concern over the
Online
spread of
gambling.
gambling.
Online gambling.
Wow.
Na basically, offshoot nung statement ni Cardinal Ambo, nung siya ay CBCP president pa, a week ago, na binanatan niya ang gambling in general. No? Kasama na rin itong isabong, kasama na rin itong online gambling. Tapos, ayun nga, naglabas sila ng statement last Sunday tungkol sa online gambling.
Pero grabe talaga, nagkalat na siya. Tapos ako, hindi mo na magpusoy.
Pusidos.
hanggang old maid lang ako eh.
Oh my God, Ed Lingao.
Alam mo yung old
Ang
maid.
Department of Finance, pinag-aaralan pa lang daw yung tax, ha?
Oh my
Sa
goodness.
online gambling, pinag-aaralan pa lang daw ng Department of Finance.
Meron naman what they call the digital
Kung
transactions tax. Meron naman the digital transactions tax, but of course,
Yung iba kasi mga pogos na
bago lang yun.
shift yan eh.
Yeah.
Sa online gambling.
Okay.
Saka
let's
yun
factor
na nga,
to your action.
ang warning ng iba, kapag tinax mo yan, baka lalong dumami yan.
Or if
Yan ang sabi ng iba.
the other side of it as well is if you ban it completely, it'll go underground.
underground.
You're never gonna get
Underground
rid
naman.
of
And then you don't earn from
gambling. It's a industry as old as time, right? Hindi mo naman talaga ma-eradicate yan. The question is, do you need more regulation at this point or
Well, kaya ang ginawa sa China, nilagay sila sa mga areas na
para
pwede
economic
sila.
zones?
Para Macau, ayan, pwede kayo dyan.
Macau, oo.
Pero i-regulate.
Sa
Special.
Pilipinas.
Sa mainland China, ay kulong
May
kayo.
nagbawal.
Special
Yung mga
economic zones.
nagmamadyong
Correct.
nagmamadyong during COVID, ayun, hinuli yun eh.
Ay, naku.
Oh, yung
Ah,
kahit
kulong
sa
pa.
mga private na bahay, yung mga nagmamadyong. Itong Pogo, kaya umalis ng China,
Kasi bawal na. Correct.
matindi ang parusa
Correct.
dyan.
Exactly. That's
Kaya
why
sa
it's
atin
spread
pumunta.
to Southeast Asia. Okay, wait. Let me
guest is here.
put a pin on this conversation because our guest is ready. Today, we're speaking to former Senate President Frank Drilon. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome back to Storycon.
Hi, Senator.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
SP Drilon.
Opo.
Yun po yung introduction namin sa iyo because first and foremost, we are talking about the race for the Senate presidency. So I guess my first question to you is, what do you think about all that's going on? Of course, every Congress naman may konting intriga over the who gets to be Senate President. But also this time around, we're seeing some unusual things, right? So you've got so-called Veterans Bloc, or they also call themselves the Conscience Bloc. There's 4 of them there. Tapos si Senator Riza is suddenly looking like she's going to be
All
on her
alone.
own as in the minority bloc as an opposition member. And then, So how are you reading all of these?
This only indicates the lack of any political party system in our present form of government, in our present situation. There are no political parties to talk of. In the Senate, there are 24 political parties. Let's not kid each other. Each senator is a separate republic. And that's a truism. I've been there, I've done that, as they say. So, that's the difficulty of our political situation. And this was brought about by martial law when the father of the present president abolished all political parties because it was inconsistent with the with the authoritarian rule. You cannot have political parties. So what you have today is an aggregation of politicians pretending to belong to a political party when in fact they are all individual parties, individual personal interest, nothing of the platform that we talk about.
Pero sir, I mean, I had the impression that the Liberal Party thought of itself as a serious political party with a serious ideology. You were former president of LP, former chairman as well. How do you see developments now with, for example, Kiko Pangilinan joining, for example, the majority bloc?
Rumored to be. We don't have confirmation
Because
yet.
he's gotten a major committee chairmanship, and from what we understand, he's already, for all intents and purposes, part of the majority.
And in the Senate, there is no such real opposition and administration. Each senator would like to be independent, to project his own program, his own policies, and the fact that the other thing in the Senate is that everyone, regardless of your affiliation with the administration or with the opposition, you have a committee chairmanship. So the delineation between the majority and minority would always be how would you call this? Mumbled, and nothing you could not see a clear delineation, so that each senator would take a position on the basis of his own principles and beliefs, nothing to do with the party. So you do not hear of a political whip in our Senate or in the House, because these are all individual how would you call this, agenda.
I understand, sir. But, sir, wouldn't the LP want to call itself a serious political party? Kasi
Well, yes, we are a serious political party. The fact that we have been there and continue to exist as a political party, yes, we are a serious political party. How effective we are in a scenario today, how effective we are is something that one can debate on, how effective we are as a political party. So that's the reality that we face today.
So SP
Actually,
Frank
Senator.
Drilon, SP Drilon, ang ibig niyo sabihin, the difference between the majority and the minority is not very significant.
At this stage in the Senate, I just talk about the Senate.
In the Senate.
You're correct, Ronald. It is not that significant. In the Senate.
Kayo, SP, ay naging miyembro ng minority at saka majority do sa mahaba niyong panahon sa Senado. So walang major difference when you were in the minority or in the majority?
The difference is in the individual stand of the senators. They always project a stance independent of any political party, because there is no real political party to talk about in the first place.
Actually, Senator, yan ang tinatanong ng mga tao ngayon eh. Outside the Senate, actually, nakikitang phenomenon ngayon nationwide, parang walang opposition o hindi maintindihan kung ano ba yung opposition ngayon. We know naman that the Duterte camp is positioning themselves as the new opposition. Pero paano yung, I'm asking you this because you belonging to the Liberal Party, yun ang tingin namin na opposition to the Marcos administration. Ano ba ngayon talaga yung opposition in this administration?
I am as confused as you are, Abby. So, I will go back to my theory. There is no real political party system as we know it today. Whereas before, you're not yet born, Amy. These nationalistas and the liberals are two distinct political parties. All of that disappeared during martial law. So, you are confused. I don't blame you. Everybody is, no. You have.
Kasi Senator, halimbawa si Bam Aquino, that's a surname na always identified with anti-Marcos forces, ano? Pero kung totoo nga yung mga reports ngayon, speculative reports, that he will be joining ng majority, ano na yung definition natin nun? And also, I'm asking this question, kasi sabi nga ni Senator Risa, sana daw mag-unite yung opposition for the 2028 general elections. Ano yung mag-unite kung ganyan na sa Senado pa lang, hindi na nga makapag-usap-usap.
There is still an opposition because there are certain one or two senators who do not affiliate themselves with the majority in the Senate. So they are in the perception opposition, but really in the Senate, it's all 24 republics that you talk about.
Tama yung sabi nyo, SP, no? There is no real political party system sa Pilipinas. But there are a few real political parties. with an ideology, with clear membership, with clear policies, and even an internal whip. Ang tanong ko, SP, paano kung, halimbawa, partido ka na nasa Senate, tapos may partido ka na nasa Congress, hindi ba pwedeng, di ba dapat at the very least, pareho silang magkasama halimbawa sa majority or sa minority? Halimbawa, si Senator Laila de Lima nasa minority sa Congress. No? Tapos yung party mate niya, si Kiko, nasa majority naman sa Senate. Di ba magkakaroon ng kanyon ng kaunting problema? Halimbawa, si Senator Risa, minority sa Senate, pero yung kanyang partido, sila Chel Jokno, minority rin sa Congress. Hindi pwedeng maging magkaiba sila.
Yes, sir. Also, confusion on the part of the public.
That only confirms what I said, that there is no real political party as we understand it today, because there is no platform that, I mean, there is no commonality in the platforms that each member of Congress would stand on. Let's not kid ourselves. I will be happy to be proven wrong, but from what I see, there is no real political party system as we know it before martial law.
I hear what you're saying, Senator, no, about the 24 republics. Everyone has their own individual agenda. But to follow up on the Ami's question, I think it feels personal to a lot of people because they voted for Bam and Kiko specifically so they could be with Senator Risa in the minority bloc, right? So this feels like a betrayal to a lot of people. Give us a better insight on that based on what you know of these two gentlemen. Are they doing the right thing? Strategic pragmatism lang ba ito? Or a sign of a change in direction for them?
Well, in the first place, I don't think they have changed directions. Bam's campaigned on the platform of education. Kiko campaigned on the platform of food security. That's precisely what they are pursuing by getting into the majority bloc to head the committees which on which they stood as an issue when they were campaigning. So again, the situation just confirms what I said, that there is no real political party system. There are individual and personal platforms that is being promoted.
But sir, there also does appear to be some disappointment on the part of the camp of Senator Risa Ontiveros, who was expecting them to join her as independents. I mean, as political independents.
Minority.
I know what you mean.
Wait. It doesn't mean that that if Bob and Kiko have chairmanships, they are not in the opposition.
But maybe
Nothing is that. In fact, here is something very funny. In the previous Congress, one senator manifested that he is with the majority. He was voted as part of the majority when the contingent of the Senate was sent to the Commission on Appointments. Pagdating sa Commission on Appointments, the legislator said, I am a member of the minority, so I should be the minority leader. So, you see, that kind of a situation really creates confusion, and I don't blame you guys for raising these questions. These are valid questions, but it is brought about by the kind of setup we have today.
Senator, tanong ko lang because she belonged to the Liberal Party, which is identified nga with the forces that are not in alliance with the, yung gano'n lang, hindi na lang opposition, that are not in alliance with the Marcos administration. Meron ba kayong efforts to consolidate nga for the 2028 races para magkaroon ng, inaasahan ng mga tao sa magkakaroon ng third force? Pero lumalabas ngayon, mukhang magiging super majority nga ang mga forces allied with the Marcoses at magiging opposition yung kabila lang, Duterte. Magkakaroon ng polarization. Yun ang sinasabi ng Duterte campaign na yung dating opposition, sabi nila hindi na opposition yan, kami na opposition ngayon. Kakampi na sila ng administrasyon.
Why? Who is in the Marcos camp today? insofar as the Senate is concerned.
Hindi, kapag ganyan nga na if you are identified with the majority, ang tingin nila, you're with the administration.
And
Not necessarily with Bongbong Marcos, but with the majority na identified na kaibigan ng administrasyon. Ganon yun. Even in the House, they're talking about the super majority supporting the majority. Kaya ang tingin nila, bakit asan yung opposition?
Look at the supporters of Chis Escudero. Are they not all identified, or most, the majority of them, identified with the Duterte camp? So why are you saying that that if you're in the majority, you're with the Marcos administration? No, so, again, confusion. I'm telling you, I know for a fact that a majority of those supported by the Duterte camp in the last election are now holding the majority in the Senate. So again, this only indicates that the lines are crossed, are confused between the majority and the minority, because in the Senate there are 24 political parties.
With the committee chairmanship, Senator, I guess if we were to delve a bit deeper there, the worry is that at what price did these chairmanships come at, right? So for example, Senator Mig Zubiri pointed out that feeling niya nasa sideline sila, right? They're not getting any real important committees. In fact, he joked at a press conference that he belongs to a GC called the Slap Soil Group, Hampas Lupa Group, because they're not getting any of the important committee chairmanship. So if Senator Bam did get what he want, which is education, Senator Kiko did get what he want, which is agriculture, at what price did these committee chairmanships come, right? There's got to be something, a trade-off.
What price? The vote of the Senate President. That's the price that they pay. So if you are with the majority, you vote for whoever is the candidate of the majority, and you negotiate on the committee that you would chair, given your mandate and given your program.
So, sir, being part of the Senate majority is only a sign of your support for the Senate President, not necessarily of Malacanang.
Yes, you can put it that way. That could remove some of the confusion. The majority is not necessarily the majority supporting the administration, because, I repeat, each senator would stand on his own agenda and platform.
For example, when it comes to the impeachment, I know then they transform into an impeachment court. But when it comes to the impeachment, for example, do we still expect, or should we still expect, the senator judges to vote according to those
Allegiances.
lines of those allegiances, between Mig Zubiri and Chis Escudero, o watak-watak na yan? You're talking about a different animal altogether.
Dagdag sana sa SP doon sa tanong ni Ed. Dahil we're not existing in a vacuum, ang nangyari kasi this past 2 months, malinaw yung mga actuations at saka position ni Senate President Chis Escudero vis-a-vis impeachment. Diba? So, does that mean yung support kay Chis Escudero is also a support for his position on impeachment?
Well, you can say that, maybe, but it is quite obvious that, there were some concessions made behind the scenes. We do not know what that is, but the majority was formed on the basis of alliances on certain issues, and we just have to wait and see. For example, the first issue that will come up, Ronald, will the Senate try the impeachment complaint, or will they dismiss it outside? That's the first issue. And here, kanya-kanyang position and kanya-kanyang, commitment. So, because there is no political party to talk about.
But
the crucial issue when the opening of Congress comes insofar as the Senate is concerned, will there be a trial on the impeachment? My reading is that, this case would end up at the Supreme Court. There are so many legal issues raised, and I am concerned that there will be no trial, but the issue of jurisdiction will be immediately raised.
But it is also
Actually,
your opinion,
Senator, nababasa niyo ba si President Marcos? Kasi yung actuations ni Senator Cheese, meron ding speculation na he's actually, it's consistent actually with the public position of the President na ayaw niya yung impeachment. Di pa nagbabago yung posisyon na yun ni President Marcos actually na wala siyang nakikitang dahilan para i-impeach yung kanyang dating partner sa unit team.
Yeah, I have stopped trying to analyze those things, Amy, because I could never figure out, what it is. So I'm at a loss as to how to. And I'm sure political observers, like my good friend Ronald here, will be uncertain of his prediction of what can happen. What I'm inclined to believe is that there will be no trial on the merits initially. How the Supreme Court, assuming that prediction comes true, how the Supreme Court will rule on this, because the issue will be brought up to them, is something that it's worth watching out for.
But to be clear, Senator, it is also your personal opinion that the Constitution mandates that they try this case, right? There are only two ways out, which is to either acquit or convict. Can I just clarify that once again?
That's correct. In my view, the Senate, as an impeachment court, is not allowed to rule on questions of evidence. Of jurisdiction. The trial becomes mandatory the moment they receive the impeachment complaint. And a dismissal on the ground of alleged lack of jurisdiction cannot be sustained. But ultimately, this is a legal question that will be decided by the Supreme Court. How the gods of Padre Faura will rule, my guess is as good as yours.
Actually, tama yung sabi ni SP Drilon na itong confusion na ito will come to a head pag open ng Congress, specifically on the issue of the impeachment, whether to dismiss or to continue. At itong magiging opening din, mas fundamental ito dun sa pinag-uusapan nating possible differences between pink and yellow forces. Dahil medyo united naman yung pink sa usapin ng impeachment. If their representatives in the Senate decide or vote otherwise, then that will be, dun mangyayari yung problema. Kung
Well, from where I sit, I have no doubt that that Senator Baum, Senator Kiko, Senator Risa will vote to have a trial conducted. That's my reading of their position. They will vote that the Senate should try the case. Whether or not in the majority will agree with them is something that I cannot predict at this point.
And then, okay, well, we wanted to ask you more as SP Drilon, but we're being told to wrap up. I'm so sorry, we've run out of time unless you have one last pahabol question. We'll invite you another time when we have more time, but thank you so much for talking to us today, former Senate President Frank Drilon.
Salamat, SP.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Good to see you
Senator.
again.
Thank you very much. I hope I didn't add to the confusion.
And I think we're all just as confused. But that's, I don't think anyone can give us answers at this point. You're watching Storycon on One News. We just need to take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.
We've got developing news in the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm at Lingao.
And I'm Regina. Still with us, Amy Pamintuan of the Philippine Star and Ronald Llamas, our resident political heckler. Heckler na talaga yung teleprompter ko.
Wala ka ng takas ngayon talaga.
Without a health card.
Humabol ko. Also, joining us this afternoon is PAGCOR Chairman Alejandro Tengco. Sir, magandang hapon and welcome back to Storycon.
Hi, magandang hapon, Ed, Regina, Amy, and Sec Ronald.
Thank you, sir, for joining us. Sir, there's,
Magandang hapon, Chair.
Hello.
there appears to be a renewed push to stamp out, the bills filed to stamp out online gambling entirely. We understand that you're only open to a partial or stricter regulation on online gambling. Are we getting it right? You're not for a total ban.
Oh, yes, I had made my stand clear. PAGCOR is for the retention with stricter regulations instead of total banning.
What
When
does
you-
what does stricter regulation look like here?
Okay, let's talk of advertising. We have been in the process of discussing with the Ad Standards Council on the possibility of regulating all the outdoor billboards and prime time advertising of online gaming operators on primetime TV, no? That's from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to sign an MOA with ASC on the 16th of July. And from there on, they will be implementing new rules and regulations already. So that is number one. With regard to the aspect of the need for counseling for those who are already addicted to online gaming, we are already in talks with the Seagulls Flock Foundation, and we are in the process of finalizing also the possibility, the setting up of a 24/7 hotline where customers or gamers who need counseling can call and talk to trained call center representatives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
yes, sir.
that is in the aspect of counseling for those who are already addicted, no?
Mm-hmm.
With regard to the issue of operations,
Mm-hmm.
there are now AI-powered tools that vendors are presenting, wherein there will be new software that will, number one, do self-exclusion. If you are being monitored to be playing more than you can afford, you are depositing more than usual, you have been losing more than winning, then you will be automatically suspended. Your account will automatically be suspended. We are also looking at AR-powered KYC, or Know Your Clients, so we can strictly implement the registration of gamblers or gamers who should be at least 21 years old, instead of those that those who are playing and they're less than 21.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have a AI-powered tool now that we're looking at, where we can monitor your gaming activity. So then, again, you either get suspended or your account can be canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So these we have been looking at in the last few months. And as you very well know, online gaming being only new, these tools are just coming out lately.
Yes, sir. Sir, I note with interest yung sinabi nyo na on operations side, you're looking at AI tools which would exclude people who, number one, deposit more than usual, number two, lose more than they win. Doesn't that already describe most gamblers who lose more than they win?
And can I just point out that those tools are not exactly new because they've been available in other countries for many years now. Maybe not AI, maybe it doesn't use AI, pero those self-exclusion tools have been around for a while. So go ahead, sorry.
Well, actually, for online gaming, ngayon pa lang po lumalabas ito worldwide. In fact, the Canada and the US, it was only recent that they have been using this tool.
Mr. Tengco, you mentioned regulation of advertising for online gambling. How about yung sa digital advertising? Kasi yung sa cellphone ko, kahit anong gawin ko, hindi ko matanggal yung advertising ng casino gambling eh.
Opo.
Kahit paulit-ulit kung tanggalin, babalik at babalik siya within seconds.
Kasama po yun sa tinitingnan ng ASC. Yung pong digital advertising. Kaya lang po, inuuna natin itong mga nagkalat na billboards ngayon all over Metro Manila, NLEX, SLEX, and
Pero actually, sir, yung mga online yung mga gambling addict, actually nahuhook sila dyan sa cellphone. Yung gambling by cellphone eh.
Sa billboards.
Yeah, thank you.
Kaya nga napakalaking bagay yon na hindi mo matanggal-tanggal yung mga site for online gaming in your cellphone. Pati mga bata nakukuha yun eh.
Correct. In fact, we are now coordinating with NTC. Meron pong ilang phone brands. Pagbili mo po, meron na pong app sa loob na kasama.
Yes.
So, meron na po kaming pakikipag-ugnayan sa NTC dahil sila po ang nag-authorize ng mga bentahan ng cellphone na kung maaari sana'y hindi na po payagan ito. Na preloaded na po yung mga app ng ibang gaming operator.
Hindi ba pwedeng PAGCOR ang mag-initiate to take out those ads na automatic nasa cellphone, hindi matanggal-tanggal?
Wala po kasi, ang totoo ma'am, wala po, kaya po kami nakipag-coordinate sa ASC, sila po ang merong regulatory function na ganun eh.
Is it ASC?
So we are signing this MOA on the 16th of July, ma'am. And immediately they will be implementing new rules and regulations. Yung
Chairman?
po ang pakikipag-usap na. Yes, sir.
Chairman, nung dati namin kayo na-interview rito, ninunuance nyo yung difference between legal pogos and illegal pogos. No? Tinapos ni Presidente yung debate dyan nung nagsalita siya about a total pogo ban. Ngayon, siguro para sa ating mga karaniwang mamamayan, ay paano natin ipapaliwanag yung difference between online gaming and pogos?
Ganito po, no? Yung una, I think ang mahalaga ulit na dapat tingnan natin, yung pong mga illegal na pogo ay hindi pigo muna, hindi po nasasakop ng PAGCOR. Unfortunately, ang nakasisira po talaga sa industriya sa ngayon ay yung mga illegal na hindi nakarehistro sa PAGCOR. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Unfortunately, unfortunately po, ang nagiging problema natin sa pangkasalukuyan, itong mga illegal natin na mga online operators who are not present in the Philippines but who are operating from outside targeting Filipino customers. So doon po, hirap na po ang DICT, NTC, PAGCOR at ang PNP Cybercrime sa pagpuputol po nitong mga online, ang mga illegal online operators na to. So doon po, yun po ang malaking problema natin sa pangkasalukuyan. Kasi ito po namang ibang mga ating mga ibang operators na legal, sumusunod naman po sila sa regulasyon eh. Ngayon, yung tinatanong nyo, ano po ang pagkakaiba sa POGO? Ang pagkakaiba po nito talaga ngayon, yung sa POGO po, even our licensees were using already their license for criminal activities. Yung pong naging scamming na po ang operations ng mahigit 90% ng mga licenses namin dati. Kaya po, kung mapapansin ninyo, hindi na po gaming ang naging hanap buhay nila. Puro scamming na po all over. Tapos, it was run na by mga big syndicates already.
Right.
Pero
So, doon po ang talagang pagkakaiba ng POGO. Kaya nagkaroon po ng desisyon ng Pangulo noon na hindi na po maaaring ipagpatuloy pa dahil nga nag-wild west na po yung mga
Yeah.
dating may lisensya.
Yeah.
Pero,
Chairman,
pero di ba that was the point I'm driving out, Chairman, na yung difference between legal and illegal pogos, yung gray area ay hindi malinaw. Kaya ang ginawa ng Presidente, total ban na lang. Hindi na usapin ng legal or illegal pogos. Hindi ba nangyayari yan dito sa online gaming? Na yung difference ng legal at saka illegal online gaming ay medyo gray. Kaya hindi ba yan gagawin ng Presidente sa incoming na zona niya? Na ito total ban na niya, yan, para katulad din ng Pogos na very confusing yung difference between legal and illegal?
Hindi ko po gustong pangunahan ng Presidente. Siya po ang makapagdidesisyon yan. Ang sinasabi ko lang po, ang pagkakaiba ng internet gaming talaga ngayon, hindi na po natin may hinto because of all this technology. Mas masahol po talaga ang mangyayari sa aming paniwala pag hindi po natin i-regulate yan dahil definitely magtutuloy po yan. At pag it is unregulated, ang makikinabang lang po talaga dyan ay yung mga operators.
Sir,
Samantalang ngayon po, ay nakita nyo naman, noong 2024, ang nakolekta po ng PAGCOR na license fees yan, may 50 billion piso po, more or less.
Actually, that was going to be my last question. Sorry, Chair, we're running out of time. Pero let's
sorry
say
about that.
we are hearing na baka masama itong online gambling sa zona ng Pangulo in a few weeks' time. If we come to that point where there's a ban, give us a sense of how much in revenue the country is losing and also how much of that goes to social services.
Okay. In 2024, we were able to collect more or less 50 billion pesos. And 50% of that automatically goes to social services. That includes the Universal Healthcare Act, yung PhilHealth po. So, malaki po ang napupunta ron. May napupunta po sa Philippine Sports Commission. May napupunta po sa Dangerous Drug Board. May napupunta po niyan sa DOJ para po dun sa mga nakulong na hindi naman dapat nakulong. And then, yung marami pong projects ng PAGCOR, tulad po ng mga pagpapagawa ng eskwelahan at saka mga socio-civic centers all around the Philippines.
Huling tanong na lang, Chair. Nabanggit nyo kasi kanina na hindi na natin mapipigilan ang online gambling, kaya i-regulate na lang natin. Di ba ganun din yung sinabi ng previous government? Hindi na natin mapipigilan ang POGOS, kaya i-regulate na lang natin. Pero that regulation failed Anong magiging difference ng regulation ngayon doon sa regulation attempt sa POGOS?
Well, ang akin lang pong sinasabi, we will execute and really make sure that we follow all the regulatory requirements of PAGCOR. Yung pong failure nung nakaraan, inihiwalay ko nga po yung 42 na na-regulate ng tama Pero sa kabuuan po tiningnan
Yeah.
Pinatunayan po ng PAGCOR na kung mariregulate po sana ng tama yung 42 na natira, maayos po, wala pong problema yung 42. We were able in 1 year to raise 6.5 billion for 42 licensees. Samantalang yung hindi sumusunod sa regulasyon noon na mahigit 200, ang nakolekta lang po nung dating administrasyon ay 7 bilyon at kalahati.
Yeah.
Kaya makikita niyo po sa akin, sana, lang pagbibigyan tayong ma-regulate ng tama, malaki po ang tulong nito sa pamahalaan at sa kapwa Pilipino natin.
Yeah. Okay, we've run out of time, so we'll leave that there for now. Thank you so much for joining Storycon today, PAGCOR Chair Alejandro Tengco. Salamat, sir.
Salamat po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Tengco.
I have to say, iba naman yung POGOs from online gambling here. Right? POGOs cater to overseas players.
Not necessarily. Dahil yung scamming, etc. It's just one system.
No,
Syndicate,
but I mean
yeah.
to say, hindi naman, online gambling on its own is not bad. It's the unchecked and, it's the fact that sometimes some people get addicted. But then the question there as well is, do you just outright ban it? Just like alcohol, for instance, diba? Parang, do you want to become a nanny state and just ban all of these things that we feel our people can't control themselves over, right?
Bahagi ng regulation daw, counseling.
That's part of it.
Bahagi ng regulation is
That's
AI
part of
to
it.
weed out those who are losing more than they're winning. But yun nga, doesn't that account for almost all the gamblers? How many people really just win? How many people really win in the gambling?
You lose a lot more, which I think a lot of people...
So that weeds out almost everybody
Saka
else.
ang POGOs hindi lang foreigners. Nagkuha na sila.
For the most-
Problema
for
ngayon,
the
ang
most
dali-dali
part.
ngayon mag-online gambling nga eh.
Oo, but
Click ka lang sa cellphone mo, nandun ka na sa site eh.
Oo nga. So, no, I get it. I mean, it's a big problem. But at the same time, you have to look at it from a free market economics perspective as well, right? Do we want to be that kind of state that, paiba-iba yung policies?
collection na yun na binabanggit ng PAGCOR, sinabi ng mga senador, it's just a drop in the bucket. Sa dapat na makolekta, yan isa pang problema.
And yet, at the same time, our debt is...
Inefficient yung
Yes, at the
tax collection ko itatax mo.
Well, that's the other thing. And then at the same time, you have record debt, right? Pataas ng pataas yung debt natin. And the revenue generation side is not going up as high. So, again, you want to take this out, saan manggagaling yung shortfall, right? That's how it is in economics. There's always a
Parang
trade-off.
isabong, legal naman yun eh.
Hindi na.
Dati.
Hindi na siya.
Banned siya.
Dati.
Suspended.
Dati
Suspended
for
indefinitely.
How many years ang legal?
A few years lang under Duterte.
Pero
Diba?
tinalo pa niya yung mga online gambling.
And then I remember the si Duterte din yung nag-ban din in the end ng isabong.
Yeah,
Yeah, siya.
I remember he apologized over letting it proliferate initially in his term.
Okay.
Well, okay, we have to go now. Thank you so much for joining Storycon today. Amy Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, Ronald Llamas, a resident political heckler. Join us again, Storycon, tomorrow, 4 p.m. I'm Regina.
I'm Lingao. We are one news, all sides, all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.